Good morning and welcome to your daily morning horoscope for Friday, 5th September 2025. Aries, don't go overboard. You may get carried away in the early part of the day, but by evening you notice you've gone beyond your boundaries. Regret may sink in and you may feel guilty about things you said or did. Prevent this by thinking things through before you speak or act in. You have the power to impact people on a deep emotional level, so please use your power wisely. Taurus, people may be trying to subtly communicate to you, but you may not be aware of this because you're so caught up in your own difficulties. You may feel like you're driving with emergency brakes on. You're so preoccupied with running smoothly that you're unaware of other cars on the road stop, so please brake and then drive. Gemini, you may feel like you aren't getting the attention you need or deserve. Because of this, you may resent the people you feel you should be getting it from. This attitude is likely to make people less likely to come to your rescue. Who wants to be around someone who's so needy and unhappy? Focus on yourself and your own healing before you take your issue to others. Cancer, try not to push away the very people who are there to help you. Dumping your problems on others may be the thing that does just that. Recognize your uncomfortable feelings, but don't burden others with them. Your happiness is your responsibility, and you'll feel much better about yourself if you take care of your own discomfort. Then you will attract the people that you love after this. Leo, your adaptive powers are useful in that they give you a high tolerance for uncomfortable situations. At times, however, this trait may not serve you very effectively. You may end up staying in a difficult relationship or unsatisfying job because you fear something new. Life is short. If you want to improve your situation, take responsibility for it, so be proactive. Virgo, you may feel lonely and isolated, like there's no one you could talk to. Your interactions may seem like giving a speech instead of having a discussion. Perhaps you feel like you're talking to yourself most of the time and no one is really listening. There's nothing wrong with you or the person you're talking to. It's just a phase, so don't get hung up on this feeling. Libra, don't fall into the self-pity trap. You may have a tendency to mope around until someone notices and asks you what's wrong. If no one does, you might get angry and pretty soon feel like you have no friends. Your mood could worsen and you might snap when someone asks you a reasonable question. Be careful of sliding down this slippery slope. Scorpio, you're at an emotionally climatic time. You may feel like someone is putting a damper on your feelings. Perhaps you're scared or shy. Perhaps you don't feel you could express yourself the way you want to. If so, consider why. Do other people make you feel this way, or are you uncomfortable with your own feelings? The issue may have more to do with your inner turmoil than just with others. Sagittarius, be careful of letting a sour mood ruin your day. You may not feel particularly cheerful. This is liable to have a dramatic effect on everyone else. Be aware of the fact that your mood may not be an accurate reflection of reality, even though for the most part your world is centered on your moods and the dramatic swings that you go through on the daily basis. Capricorn, relationships may be a bit difficult, so don't force the pleasantry. If it doesn't come naturally, your motto today should be, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Perhaps this leaves you tongue-tied, but that's fine. If you need to spend the day alone, so be it. Don't be social if you don't have to. Aquarius, you may put other people's needs before yours. There's an important balance between being selfish and being selfless. Don't sacrifice yourself to be a servant to others. It's important to not think of yourself only, but consider how your actions will affect others. You may swing toward the former today. This will only lead to resentment and deplete your emotional and physical resources. Pisces, be disciplined to maintain your boundaries in order to keep you from getting swept into other people's drama. It may be fun to escape your problems by jumping into someone else's life, but soon you'll find the extra weight is not only taxing but also won't solve your own problems. You may need to say no to others, but that's fine. It's vital that you consider your own needs. This has been your daily morning horoscope for Friday, 5th September 2025. Do have yourself a great, blessed, and wonderful day.
Good morning. It's Friday, the 5th of September. And of course, we're heading into the weekend. Good morning. This is the DBS Morning Show. As usual, we need to know what's happening in and around. Let's go on over to our news department.
Good morning. Time now for the Friday edition of the news. My name is Timothy Polion. St. Lucia has taken a decisive step towards strengthening its resilience to climate and weather threats with the launch of its first national hydrometeorological policy, a framework that not only formalizes the work of the meteorological services, but also paves the way for legislation to govern all agencies involved in meteorology across the island.
This policy addresses long-standing coordination issues, sets standards, and ensures regulatory compliance with both national priorities and international agreements. Most importantly, it provides a clear mandate, strategic direction, and framework for the St. Lucia Meteorological Services to deliver essential weather, climate, and hydrological services. It is a crucial step towards strengthening our preparedness and resilience against the growing impacts of climate variability and change.
The policy establishes accountability and positions the Met Services as a key contributor to national development by supporting vital sectors such as disaster management, agriculture, water resources, infrastructure, tourism, and health. The policy represents a major milestone for the St. Lucia Met Services. We continue the broadcast with news that the CDF, the Cultural Development Foundation, along with its affiliates, has partnered with the Embassy of the Republic of Taiwan to launch a workshop on costume design and engineering as part of an ongoing cultural exchange. Creatives in the sector will be tutored by a renowned Taiwanese costume designer who will help sharpen their skills ahead of Carnival 2026.
The ambassador said to CDF, since you're used to doing the Spotlight Taiwan proposals, perhaps for this year coming, you can perhaps do something on Carnival. And we opted to do the costume building, or I want to say design and engineering. This is not about teaching. It's about enhancing, upgrading, retooling, and skilling.
The Taiwanese ambassador underscored the importance of cultural sharing between long-standing partners. She notes that the similarities between both nations' festivals create a common thread that strengthens ties despite the geographical distance. St. Lucia is joining the rest of the world today in observing International Day of Charity, a United Nations initiative that highlights the critical role of non-profit organizations and volunteers in fighting poverty and uplifting vulnerable communities.
Charity plays a vital role in addressing gaps that governments and systems cannot always fill. It uplifts vulnerable communities, provides opportunities for youth, women, and also men, and fosters compassion and unity in society. Globally, charitable work has been at the heart of responding to crisis, whether natural disasters, poverty, or social injustices, bringing people together across borders.
The United Nations has designated International Charity Day as a call for global compassion and solidarity, strengthening community support, promoting volunteerism, and encouraging philanthropy to fight poverty and build inclusive societies. Visitors arriving on the island may soon breeze through immigration in minutes instead of standing in long lines. A new digital immigration kiosk system, now in its test phase at both of the island's airports, has already processed hundreds of travelers from major tourism markets, including the US, the UK, Canada, and CARICOM, proving both fast and secure.
What we have observed is the processing time has improved tremendously, but there is still need for the officers at the desk to provide the service to those who are not yet allowed to use the kiosk.
Officials say the innovation is setting the stage for a smoother, more welcoming first impression of St. Lucia. That's the news. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Join us at noon for our next news major, the Lunchtime Report. I'm Timothy Polion. Good morning.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys. Let's take a break. We'll be back. right. Well, we're kicking things off this morning. We went international, sort of, but international here in St. Lucia. There is this entity, it's an NGO. It's labeled King's Trust International. Well, it used to be Princess Trust International, but since we have no princess and it's a king, we have no, so it's King's Trust International. But we have a wonderful young lady here who's going to go all into it to let us know about this NGO. Well, you know how we do. I got gifts. My camera guy didn't get. I'm not sharing anything in my bag either. But nonetheless, we are here. We're going to talk about that later. We're going to fine tune who getting what from the bag. But I'm here with Nachiza Masekini. Now, listen, it's a good thing I'm not signing your check because you would have taken that. But I am honored. Tell me a little bit about King's Trust International. You are the International Programs Manager for the Caribbean. I'll get to it right. There's a long thing, but the brain's working. So tell me about this company. Tell me about how long have you been around? What is it that you're into? I want the full scope, and so does my viewers.
Thank you so much for having me. So King's Trust International was founded by His Majesty King Charles III back in 2015. So this is actually our 10th anniversary year. Wow. So we've had a lot of activities going on. So we work across 20 countries across the globe, primarily in Asia, the Middle East, Africa, Europe, and of course the Caribbean. Wow. So our main mission is to support young people globally with education and employability skills training and personal development. So our mission is really to help young people learn, earn, and thrive. And we do that with our network of delivery partners across the globe. So we see ourselves as being experts in our technical sort of models, tested and proven over the many years. So we're the sister charity to King's Trust UK. And as your viewers may have heard our former name, Princess Trust, but of course, when His Majesty ascended the throne, we underwent a name change. So we're really building on the institutional knowledge of the UK and then working with our brilliant network of delivery partners across the globe to really build not only on their own technical expertise, but on their knowledge of the local context and what really works with their young people. So all that being said, over the last decade, our interventions have supported 100,000 young people across the globe. And with our network of delivery partners, our reach has been around like 4 million young people. Wow. So, and I'm proud to say that we've been working in the Caribbean since the very start. So in the Caribbean, we work in Barbados, which we started in 2016, in Jamaica in 2019, and then Trinidad and Tobago also in 2019. And then St. Lucia, we started consultancy projects first in 2020-21, and then now we deliver the team program in which we started in 2023.
Walk us through the programs. You mentioned team program and now consultancy and, break it down for me.
Of course. So when we do consultancy, we work with local organizations that we identify similar need. So of course, as a youth charity, we're really focused on supporting young people in the best way that we can. So our consultancy projects take sort of two aims. So we'll be working with an organization to either create a bespoke framework or to tailor one of our existing programmatic models like the team program. So in St. Lucia, we've had the privilege of working with a variety of NGOs to sort of support what they were doing and to provide feedback and to sort of act as a critical friend. And then with the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, which we've been working with since 2022 and delivering with since 2023, we deliver the team program here, which is a 12-week personal and social development program for unattached young people.
Wonderful. And we're about to find out some more about that as well. But before we go there, can you tell us how we can follow everything King's Trust? We want to know what's going on. Some people may be hearing about this for the first time and they'd like to dive in a little bit more to get more insight. So how can we connect with you? You're on social. What's the handles? What's the website?
Yeah, so everything's very simple. So it's all at King's Trust International. So our website is kingstrustinternational.org. And then our ats on Twitter and Instagram, I believe, are King's Trust INT. To keep it short and sweet.
Wonderful. And that's not the last you'll be hearing about King's Trust because they have been actively involved in St. Lucia and we'll be doing some follow-up on that as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nachiza? I got it. know. If you know, you know. If you've been around this part, you'll understand where we are. But right now, we're in a very significant place because we're talking significant things. And you have been hearing a lot about me on the morning show, trying to figure out where we are, what's going on with the marijuana thing, boy, what's going on, what we doing? So I finally find the right person to speak to. That is Mr. Dylan Norbert Inglis. Yeah, he break it down for me. So all right now. I could sit down now and say, well, all right, I understand what we're doing. I work in with it. Conversation has been happening, and you have seen me on the morning show. I'm going behind Kailash, I'm going behind this one, I'm going behind everybody because I didn't know where to go. Trying to find out where we are, where we stand with the whole marijuana and St. Lucia and what we're doing, if we're on board, if we're not on board. And I, like everybody has been saying, but everybody done there already. And I saw this gentleman right here, Mr. Inglis, at the unconference, the first ever unconference, and he made that one statement, and I just said, okay, all right, I understand now. He said, we may be late to the party, but we are well dressed. Mr. Inglis, I am so happy to connect with you, the right person to talk when I want to know what's going on with this whole thing, don't?
Yes, so St. Lucia has been for the last 3 years working on refining a regime for cannabis in St. Lucia. So we recognize that a few other islands have beat us to the punch, but we have been trying to develop what we think is a regime best suited for St. Lucia. So our regime is very different. We've incorporated a number of aspects and mechanisms that we think would benefit our traditional cultivators, our population generally, safeguard our youth. So we have a very different regime to what exists in Barbados and St. Vincent and Antigua, in Jamaica. We have gone through the painstaking process of stakeholder engagements and community engagements, both on the bill and now on the regulations, to make sure people understand what is in the bill, what is in the regulations, what will be required of them if they want to be a party to the industry, how they can enter the industry, what are the safeguards or restrictions that we have within the regime, so that they can get themselves ready if they want to be a part of it, and if they want to just participate otherwise, that they can give their comment, give their feedback, let us know what challenges they have, let us know if we are developing something that they think is best suited for them as the consuming public. So we're just about to finish today another set of community engagements. We'll be in Beaufort this afternoon. And we really want to ensure that everybody gets an opportunity to give their view, because we oftentimes see bills go to Parliament and the ayes have it, and people lament that, oh, they didn't know, they didn't get an opportunity. The RSA wanted to handle it differently. So with the Ministry of Commerce and the St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, we've been really sparing no effort in ensuring that we go to the communities and the individuals get a chance to give us their views on how the cannabis industry will be rolled out in St. Lucia.
Wonderful. Now, at the unconference, you gave a complete rundown, in a nutshell, which I would ask you to do again in terms of some of the things that are considered under the regulations. Can you give us an insight, for the people who are existing? Because a lot of talk is, well, how does the Rastafarites, how do they fit into this bill? They should be at the forefront. You get in all of this conversation. How does this regulatory and the bill and all of this consider all of that?
Right. So the bill really is just a framework for the entire industry. What really speaks to the specific nuances of the regime would have been your regulations. So we've developed regulations for cultivation, which speak to the traditional cultivators and the requirements for cultivators generally. We've developed regulations for processing for the individuals who want to get into manufacturing cannabis products. We've developed regulations for transportation because there need to be strict requirements for transporting the product. We've also developed regulations for religious use, which speak to how the Rastafarian community or individuals who use it as a sacrament would really deal with the product. We also have regulations for Class 1 and Class 2 dispensaries because we have two different kinds of dispensaries in our regime, which is, again, why our regime is different. We've developed regulations for medical authorization. If a doctor is to prescribe, what do they take into consideration? How do you go about getting a prescription? What the card that you receive? So all of these matters and parameters are listed in regulations. We've published now 12 of them, and we'll be publishing more as time goes by. But we wanted to put these out before the legislation, and to be proactive, put these out before the legislation has been passed so people know what's coming in the bill.
When you talk publication, where can we find this?
They're on our website, on the Regulated Substances website. So that's rsa.govt.lc. You can see the bill, and you can also see the regulations that I've spoken to, and anything else that we are going to publish, we publish on our website. You can also follow us on our socials. We at RSA_LC. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook. so you can join the conversation.
Wonderful. Now there's a lot, so we cannot put it in the morning show in that space of time that we have this. So I will advise you or engage you to go on out and check out all of that that's happened. If you want, if you're so moved and you're interested in that, you definitely need to go and look on the website to get more of the information. But generalization wise, you spoke of there would have been a buying body if you wanted to be a cultivator, if you wanted to sell, like the power. Yes, the central chain.
So the central trading entity sits, as the name suggests, at the center of the entire regime. It really is something that we're very proud of. In developing the regime, we wanted to ensure that the persons who were current players in the market, albeit illicit players in the market, that there was an opportunity for them to be part of the industry, regardless as to what the challenges are becoming a new party to the industry. So the central trading entity really buys all the cannabis from the farmers and sells that cannabis to dispensaries. If you are a cultivator, processor, dispenser, you can also keep your cannabis, but in that case, you'd pay the central trading entity royalties. And a lot of persons thought to themselves, well, it's like a monopoly. And we said, well, what we're creating is an avenue so that the traditional cultivators can always benefit. Right. So the central trading entity is required to have an ownership stake of legacy operators, people who would have been in the industry prior to legalization. So these individuals, because they've been deemed legacy operators, have a right to purchase shares. And not just a right to purchase shares, but the CTE must look for these individuals to purchase shares in the CTE to qualify to become a central trading entity. So that means that every single plant propagated in St. Lucia, if it is that you have an investor that comes in and they invest millions of dollars and they have a massive farm with hundreds of plants, if they have those plants on island and they want to export it, sell it to someone, they still have to pay the central trading entity. So all of these traditional operators still have the opportunity to benefit from dividends from their ownership stake in the central trading entity.
Wonderful. Dylan, again, this is not going to be our last conversation. We're certainly going to keep abreast with that. It's definitely something that I'm interested in. So we're going to keep coming back to you for references. But, the website again and the social media again, with persons can go on over to engage and get all the information. Just throw that out again for me quickly.
That's rsa.govt.lc. That's our website. And we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn. You can also send us an email, info@rsa.govt.lc. We're excited to get any comments, any feedback from the public. We love it because we really are putting our best effort into this.
Wonderful. We're late to the party, but we're well dressed. Absolutely.
Workout, we will be doing a cardio soca jam routine to Drunk Again by Skinny Fabulous. Okay, up here. Hey! Take it up here. Hey! 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it here. Hey! Up and down. Hey! Again. One more. Come to me. Let's go. Push back.
I just cheat on my girl.
Let's go.
I drink the rum and start to make out with her.
Push back.
Now I have no more girl.
Okay, from here. Hey!
Get in a bad up in the front again.
Woo!
I tell myself that I got
4,
my ways.
3,
No matter how I
4, 3. Let's go.
Mash up. Nobody can
Talk to me.
When I think I just want rip up.
Nobody can
talk to me. When I think I just want get mad.
They can't talk to me.
Nobody can talk to me. Nobody can talk to me.
Come to me.
I tell myself I won't vomit in
Push
this
back.
party. Whoops. I just vomit in the
Again.
party. But
Woo.
guess what? I feel good. Now restart
Take
the
it back.
party. I wind up on my best friend shawty. So
Come on.
if I get enough obnoxious,
That's it.
I'm up on a big truck.
2 more.
Nothing to discuss. Just carry me home. Tomorrow we pick some cars.
Come.
Watch home again. Getting up and up in the front again.
Take it here.
My ways. But then no matter how I try,
4,
I just
3,
can't deny.
2.
When I drink, I want
Hey.
to mash up.
Nobody can talk to me.
When I drink, I just want rip up. Nobody can talk to me. When I
2
drink, I
more.
just want get bad. They can't
Take it.
They can't talk to me. No, they can't talk to me.
Hey! Can't talk to me. Take it here. 4, 3, 4, 3. Come to me.
I tell myself I wanna cheat on
Push
my
back.
girlfriend. I just cheat on my girlfriend.
One more.
I drink the rum and start to make out with her friend.
Push.
I have no more girlfriend.
Hey!
I can't believe that
That's a drunk again. Well, there you go. That's it. That's our Friday show. Going out, be inspired in whatever way. Going out, be nice to somebody today. I said that the other day on my radio show and someone responded on the platform, no, we are not being nice. We're terrorizing them. I don't want you to go out and terrorize nobody. Be nice today. Be kind. And if you can't be kind, well, then be quiet. Have an awesome weekend, a safe one at that. And we'll do this again on Monday right here for another DBS This Morning. We're out.